Okay. So I am on page 96. Okay. We were looking at the FIFO method of valuating inventory. And I think it's in your assignment as well. Okay. So you have to measure the FIFO method, and they're looking at the perpetual inventory system for the FIFO method. So if we look at 5.1 on page 97, I don't know what page yours is. Okay. So in this example, they're giving us the perpetual inventory system, and they want us to value this cost of these dolls at according to the FIFO method. And what is quite important here, it says that they sell one type of doll, but all the dolls are identical. Which, when I looked at the example, I thought to myself, okay, how did I get to that? But then it boils down to that one question where the sentence where it says they are all identical. They made the following purchases during April, blah, 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 blah. Then they say on the 7th of April, they sold the first doll for 400 Rand. And they give doll C to customer. But doll C is valued at 220. Doll A is valued at 200. Okay? So it's irrelevant what doll they gave because they're all identical. So we need to value that doll C not at 220 but at 200. You all with me? Because according to the FIFO method, we need to first, let's just make here doll A was 200, doll B was 210, right? Doll C was 220, and doll D was 230. Okay, so because we are valuing, we're using the FIFO method, we value the first in method, which was at 200 Rand, irrespective if they gave us that doll. So then we have to account for this transaction. We have to do the journal entries. Okay, so does anybody want to assist me with these journal entries? Anybody? Anybody, Yukisa? You want to do the journal entries?
Yes, we can go ahead. We can try.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not really. We're saying that we are using the perpetual system.
Yes,
So we know that we are dealing with inventory accounts only here.
that's it.
Okay. So we are doing the transactions for all of them, for all the doors.
Yes, yes. You see, they are not going to tell you which journal entries. In a case like this, you must just know that you must do all the journal entries for that doll A, B, C, D, and E, or whatever the dolls are.
Okay. So we're gonna have to first add all the dolls, I think, and get the grand
Mm-hmm.
total.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, we are purchasing those dolls from um, from a supplier.
Yes.
Okay, so which means we need to have two accounts involved.
Mm-hmm.
One must be credited,
Mm-hmm.
one is to be debited, if I'm correctly
Mm-hmm.
speaking.
You
Okay, and
100%.
okay, so you when we add, I think, wait, Just give me a second. So the total for the purchases from the supplier of all the doors included, it gave us 860.
Okay.
Now we need to now solve a transaction. So which one must be debited and which one needs to be credited.
You was on, you were on the ball 2 days ago. This morning, this afternoon, you look like you can't remember what you said on Thursday night.
I can remember.
Bilkies, do you want to help him out?
So one account needs to be debited. Am I correct?
Yes, you 100% right.
Okay. So I will say inventory.
With
inventory 860. So can
the other account?
I can say inventory on doors or inventory. I can, for example, can I put it that way?
Yes.
And then that's gonna be debited with the 860, and then the trade receivables.
Payables.
Sorry, payables. Trade payables, and that will be credited with 860.
But why trade payables? I want to know in this book. Why do they say trade payables? Did they say somewhere that they purchased it on credit? They never said anywhere they purchased on credit. Yet when they look at the solution, it shows trade creditors. It doesn't mean that a business naturally buys on credit. He could buy cash as well. I'm not in agreement with that answer. I'm not in agreement with what the study guide says there. You can choose what you want to.
But as if the question does not give us, if they say it's on cash or on account, then we can use any.
I would do this that I'm doing now.
Oh, you will use
I
bank.
would say both. / bank.
Okay.
I would go trade payable / bank because they don't say, and you can't just assume that a company buys on credit. I don't know what is that logic behind that.
Okay.
Because yeah, they say on the 7th, Brazil sells its first doll for 400 rand and gives doll C to the customer. They also don't say that they sold it.
They also don't say that they
cash
sold.
or I don't know.
Yeah. I don't say they did it cash, but yet when you look at the solution, it assumes that there they say assume for cash. Oh, they're saying in the solution assuming. Okay, so we were right. Okay, so the next transaction that we're gonna do would be on the sale of the doll.
Yes.
So
debit. Bank. With 400. And then you credit sales with 400 as well.
Okay, but because this is a perpetual, there would be 4 transactions. Okay. So what would be my other 4 transactions?
Cost of sales.
Cost of sales.
Okay, so you're going to debit your cost of sales with 200 or 220?
It's 200 because it's 200 because we gave.
Okay, because we gave it all A, which was the FIFO method. Why is it lying so bad? It's only with this class that you're lying so bad. Okay, let's continue. The only thing that we left out here, let me just mute because I can hear some background noises. Okay, that's better. Please, people, just leave your buttons on mute and unmute yourself when you need to talk. Otherwise, it causes a lot of static on the line. Okay, so the lady and the gentleman was quite right. When they did the transactions, they debited the inventory because that is the total inventory that they purchased. And we don't know how they purchased. I just made slash to both. Because it's a perpetual system on the FIFO basis, there will be 4 transactions. So you debit your bank with a 400 and you credit your cost of sales with a 200. So we'd use that amount there and not the 220. Okay, let's look at another example. Example 5.2. Okay. So example 5.2, Russia uses a perpetual inventory system and applies the FIFO method for the valuation. Yes.
Sorry, Aziza,
yes.
just before you move on.
Okay.
You said we debit cost of sales with 200, and are we crediting again cost of sales with 200?
Sorry. Inventory. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, he's awake, eh? Thanks, Yatisa.
Okay.
Typo. Okay, so Russia uses a perpetual inventory system and applies the FIFO method for the valuation of the merchandise. The following transactions occurred. Okay, so they're giving us all these transactions, and they obviously want to find out what will the balance be, right, of the inventory. And they say there that the opening inventory is 25 units at 15,000 at 1,000. So let's do that type of thing. So we are still working on the FIFO method, or the FIFO method, and 25 at 1,000 will give me 25,000. Okay, so, and that is my opening inventory. Okay, so let's look at what transactions took place. Okay, so on 1 April, they made a sale of 15 units. Okay, so let's just put your sales and let's just put your minus the 15 units, right? And the unit cost is 1,000. Okay, and that will then be your 10,000. So my balance here will be 10 at 1,000. Sorry, it must be 15,000. Yeah, sorry. I'm full of typos today. And 10 times 1,000 must be then 10,000. So can you see? Let me make this bigger also on my screen. Okay, so everybody now gets my balance. Let me just highlight this balances. Okay, so let's continue now. You're going to do it for me. So on the 2nd of April, you purchased 8 units at 10.20. So what do I put in here? My 8 units at 10.20. And that was purchases. Okay. So what do I do next? What is 8 times 10.20?
It is 8160.
Okay. So what is my balance now? So what is my balance now? 18.
18,160.
Okay, 18 units, right? And then we take here the 18,160, right? So we have to divide actually our 18,160 to get our average. Okay, but we're not busy with the average. So let's just put the asterisk there. Okay, so the next one was we purchased 12 units at 1030. So what do we do now? Once again, purchase.
Sorry,
Yes.
just before we move to purchases. Okay, we purchase on the second 8 units, each at 1,020 rand, and then we got
Mm-hmm.
that 8,160. Okay.
Yes.
Now we need to again work out the balance. So which means now
Yes.
you are going to add the 8 and the balance of the previous, which was 10 plus 8. It gives you
Mm-hmm.
that 18. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct? And then
You're correct.
what did you times with? Did you times it
Now
again with
I'm
the
now I'm just putting an asterisk in there. Maybe I should just put something like that in there.
so how did you okay, and then you added that 10,000 with 8,160, and then you got 18,160.
Yep. And then I
Okay,
said 10 plus the 8 is
it's
18.
18. Okay, because now I saw you put and that multiplication there, so I wasn't sure if you did times or something.
No, that
Okay.
was just to show that I'm putting nothing in there. But then I
Okay.
chose the wrong
Okay.
symbol.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the next one they say purchase 12 units at 1030. So you go 12 units at 1030. So what is 12 times 1030?
12,360.
12,360. Okay. So now what is my balance now?
That's 30,520.
30 units at 30,520. This is quite simple, eh? I'm just going to do 2 more and then we move on. Because this is how you will do it according to the FIFO method. Okay, so on the 4th of April, the sale of 20 units. Right. So, how do I account for the sale of the 20 units based on the FIFO?
Aziza, I think
Yeah,
you say it's 30 units, yeah? So you take
20 units.
10, 20 units, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So you take that first 10, the balance there, not
Okay.
I think I'm doing mine
Yeah,
a bit longer. Is there maybe a quicker way? Because
this is the quicker way. Look here, I'm taking the 10, I'm striking the 10, and then I'm
yeah,
striking my 8,
8, and
and
then
then
2 from
just
the,
2.
yeah.
Yeah, so just 2 from the 12. So then this means to say that I have 10 actually left, right? So that means to say that I would have 10 here left, and that means to say that I would have a balance of 10.
Sorry, is it not 2 from the 18? No. It's 2 from the
No,
12.
it's it's 10 from the 1,000, from that
Yeah.
1,000, 8 from the 1020, and then 2
Yeah.
from 2 from that, the
Okay.
1030.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
So
Yep.
now we have 10 left. Okay, and then at what amount are we? So that we will also have to strike out now. Right? Let me just say 5. Oh, damn it. Undo. So let me just strike that out as well. We're going to strike that out as well. So how much do we have left now? And then we're going to strike 2 out. So we're going to have to say 12,360 minus the 2,130. So that's going to be my balance. Let me just see. This isn't the easiest method that I do, you know. Do you do an easier method? Because I would now minus that, and that would be my balance. Let me just see something quickly. 12,360 plus 2,150. So there's a 14,510 balance at 10. No. 1030. So then I must have 10,300 there. You must actually just strike that out, right? The 10 that I used, that I sold, the 8 that I sold, and the 2. So after the 2, I have 10 left. Okay? Then my last valuation was at 1030. So now I've got 10,300. Are you with me, Bilkis? Do you have an easier method that you do?
I would have said, you see with purchases is, that's your loss. Oh, no, I see you correcting it now, because my last answer would have been 10 times that 1030, and then you get the 10,300.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yokisa, is yours the same? Do you do yours the same?
I
Let me
think
just mute.
the one on the book, it's
easier.
it's easier because we continue with the transactions, and then as we continue, then we always just make it lesser and lesser. With your one now, I could understand
It's
it,
a
but
bit
then
messy, eh?
yes,
My
but then
one
I
gets
got lost.
messy.
Yeah, I got lost somewhere.
The other people, Londiwe, Grace, Cornelia.
I understand. I understand the one on the textbook. It's
Okay,
just easier to minus as
to
you go
understand.
along.
Okay, let me
Yes.
rather do it the way the textbook. Let me rather follow it on the textbook. Mine is messy. I'll agree. Mine is messy. Okay, so now we sold our dolls, and now we have 10 dolls left at 1030. So now we want to sell another 6 dolls. Okay, so how do we account for the 6 dolls? Can you just mute your buttons, please? So we have 10 dolls left, and we want to sell another 6 units of the dolls. So tell me how you do it. So you will generally have 4 at 1030, which will give me 1030 times 4 is how much? Is 4120.
4120.
Okay. Let's look at the next day. They purchased 10 units at 1050. Okay. So if we purchased another 10 units at 1050 the next day, and that is 10,500. what is my balance now altogether? My balance is 14, and that is 14,620. Okay. So this is what my inventory currently is valued at. Okay, so the next day, they purchased 4 units at 1080. Okay, so if we purchased again 4 units at 1080, it is now sitting at 1080 times 4 is 4320. So now we have 18 units in the stock, valued at 18,940. So that's my balance now. Everybody with me? So they then sold 12 units. Right. So if I sold 12 units minus 12, so then we're sitting with a balance of 6 units. Right? Well, how do I go further? If we sold 12 units,
I'm sorry to disturb you. I've just joined in. May I just ask, where are we
we're
looking
on
at?
page 98.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, on the 8th of April, we sold 12 units. Okay, so what 12 units are we selling? This is where my method starts coming into play. So I need to account for that 4, right, of the 1030 and the 1050. Okay, so 12, we're going to sell at 4 minus 4 at 1030, and we're going to sell minus 8 at 1050. So that is 4120, and that is 8,400. So I now have 6. And if I subtract 18 minus 4 minus 8, you're supposed to get the 6,420. So this is what my inventory now is valued at. This is not difficult. You know what it is? It's corpo. You have to concentrate and focus all the time on what you're selling. Okay, so if we were to do the journal entries for this, how would we account for our journal entries? I'd like to ask us for journal entries. So let's do our journals for this. Bilkis, you want to begin? Yokisa?
So for the 1st of April,
Did they say
so
in this exercise?
I'm looking now. They
Okay.
don't say anything about.
Yes, the markup. They did. They say the opening balance of inventory was 25 units at 1,000. The selling price remained 1,500. Okay. So now you have to calculate. Okay, so let me do the first one for you. So the first one, you're going to debit your trade debtors, or if we did it bank, and credit our sales. And we would have then done 22,500, 22,500 based on 1,500 Rand selling price times how many dolls did we sell? 15. Right?
15. Yep.
So we do our cost of sales. So you have to debit our cost of sales for the 15,000 Rand, because that's what it cost us. And then we're going to credit our inventory for the 15,000. Okay. Let me just mute. People, we can hear all the background noises. Can you just unmute yourself when you are when you need to talk? Okay. So I'm not gonna do all. I'm just gonna ask you here and there. How do you account for the 3rd of April? The transactions for the 3rd of April. I just need to know those transactions. It's gonna take us forever to. Who's in our group? Pumza, you wanna take a try, or Ethan? For the 3rd of April, how would we account for the transactions on the 3rd? The journal entries.
Are we there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So on the 3rd of April, we purchased obviously 12 units. Okay, at 1,030 Rand each. So like I mentioned before, so which means we are buying from a supplier. Okay. So we're gonna have two accounts involved. We're gonna have trade payables, which will also make it on our side /bank. We got debit debt.
So must I debit my trade payables?
No.
What are you saying?
I'm saying
Okay.
we got trade payables as one of the accounts, and then we also buying a inventory. Am I correct?
Yes.
So we're gonna credit and the inventory account. Gonna debit.
So you're saying that we're gonna credit
we're gonna debit the inventory account.
Okay. With?
So there was 12 units at 10. It's gonna be 12,360.
Okay, and what are we gonna credit?
Your trade your trade payables.
Okay, 12,360. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna do all because you obviously know how to do the journal entries. Let's move on. Let's move on to 5.3. The inventory of materials in manufacturers. So let's look at this example on page 103, example 5.3. India Limited manufactures cricket bats. The bats are made from willow wood that India purchases in 0.75 meter lengths. Make sure before you go in the exams, you know how many meters is in a kilometer, how many centimeters is in a meter, how many whatever is in a whatever. because I had a question one day. I had to calculate the water in a dam. And for the life of me, I couldn't get that thing right. So make sure you know exactly how many, and make sure that you know how what pi is, how that calculate, all that stuff that we learned in standard 2 and standard 3 and standard 4, length times breadth times height. Make sure you always know that for management accounting. So anyway, let's continue. The bats are made from willow wood that India purchases in 0.75 meter lengths. These lengths of wood are put into production in stage 1 of the manufacturing process. At the beginning of April, there was no inventory. During the month of following, purchases of wood lengths were made. So they're giving us the quantity, they're giving us the unit cost and the total cost. Okay, so during the month, they were transferred to WIP. So I'm not going to type this out. I'm just going to read it to you because you find the book method easier. Okay, so let's look at how they got to account for this. So if you look, they say to us on the 1st of April it was 80 and it was 700, so it was 56,000. So then on the 1st of April, they issued 50 to production. Okay, which was transferred to the work in process. So when you issue to production, it is treated as similar as a sale. So you subtract it, right? And you got 30 left, 700. So your value at the 1st of April is 21,000. Then on the 10th of April, they purchased 20 again at 720. So 20 at 720 is 14,400. So now they have 50 units valued at 35,400. Okay, and then they issued another 10 to production. So when you issued the 10 to production, you notice that they issued the 10 to production at 700. Why are they issuing the 10 at 700 and not at 720? Anybody?
I think because of that 80, there was still 30 left. So
That's it.
yeah.
So we still, yeah. So the next 20 is still going to be issued at 700. Am I right? Because it's still was 30 left minus the 16, so the next 20 is still going to be issued at 700. If you look on day 17, you can see that 20 is issued at 700. So then they purchased another 60 at 750. So the value is now 100 at 73,000. But then on the 17th, they issued 70 to production, right? So the 70, I said there was 20 still at 700, no? So now we still need 50. So the 20 will go at 720 and the balance of the 30 will go at 750. Right. Let's look at the entries. Now the journal entries become a bit more complicated. So on the 1st of April, it makes perfect sense that you're going to debit your inventory account of materials, right, to your trade creditors because you purchased 80 units. But when you transfer that stuff to production, you will debit your WIP account and credit your material account. Are you all with me? Because when we issue it to production, when we purchase our inventory, we debit our inventory account. When we issue to production, we credit our inventory account. Then we have to debit our work in process account. So if you look on the 10th of April, okay, 20 units at purchase. Once again, we're going to debit our inventory control account and credit our trade creditors. And the next day, when we're going to issue again to production, you debit your WIP account, credit your inventory of materials. So that is how you do a perpetual of a merchandise. Okay. Now let's look at the periodic. How would we do a periodic system? Okay, so let's look at 5.4. So they gave us the sales, purchases, and they gave us this whole scenario, right? So then they showed us there on the next page the sale and of 15 units. They had 25, then they sold 15, then they purchased 8, they purchased 12, which left them with 20. So I'm lying 10, then they purchased 20, so they should have 30, right? And then they sold 20, and then they sold 6, and they purchased another 10, they purchased another 4, and they sold 12. So they have a closing inventory of 6 units, all right? But now, how do they calculate? Can somebody tell me 6 units at what price on hand based on the periodic system? Who can tell me how they calculated this?
Hi.
Hi.
Since it's first in, first out, whilst we are calculating, whilst subtracting the sales from the purchases, we find that the remaining inventory of 6, if it's from the first cost price, that will be the cost price that we use. If it's from the last cost price, that's the one that we use.
Okay, so the two last was the 1080 and the 1050 that we used. So then they valued it at the 6420. Okay. This chapter is not difficult at all. Let's just move on. Okay, let's just move on to activity 5.1 on page 112. Okay, so activity 5.1 on page 112, they say that ABC factory situated in Isando. The following are the purchases and issues of components ZZ, a direct material used in the manufacturing process for June. So they gave us all these transactions and they said to us we must show the general journal recordings for the above. So how will you start? Where will you start? What will you do if you were to do this? Would you first draw up your table? Would there be time to do your table? Would you work directly from this? Let's start. Ethan, do you want to start? What about starting with your purchases on day 3? So we know that we purchased 700 units at 160. So what would our journal entries be? Debit our inventory purchases, credit our payables to our bank. Is that not simple? The next day they issue to production. They issued 1250 units to production. Okay. What do those be? What journal entries are you going to pass there? Yukisa? What do y'all think?
We issue to production, so there's gonna be 2 accounts.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be it's gonna be the walking in WOP of if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
Yes.
other one, we're issuing material to production, so it will be the material account as well. So the WAP will be credited, and the material account will be the WAP will be debited, and the material account will be credited.
Okay. How did they get the 1875? Who knows? Why did they use 1875? Why did they debit the
Give you an answer now.
Aziza,
yes?
it is the 1250 you take away from the 1,500, which was the opening balance.
Mm-hmm.
And then you times about 150 because it's still part of that 1.5.
Yes.
So it's the
Every,
1250 times, yeah.
yes. Everybody get what Wilkie said?
Yes.
Okay, and that's basically how we're going to do it right down. So all the time when you're going to issue at production, you're going to have to issue from what was left, first in, first out. So you're going to issue like on day 8, you're going to issue at 160 because 1150, it's the 700 units. But how does this make sense? How did they issue on the 8th of June all the units at 160? Oh, it was
That was a
purchases, sorry.
purchase.
Those was purchases. Okay, so when they say the 1.2 units at production, you obviously got to say there was still 250 units from the opening balance, and then 700 from the purchases, and then whatever was left. And that's how you will continue right through. That is basically how the FIFA method works. First in, first out. Always think of FIFA as apples or bananas or fish that will go rotten. You take the first batch and you start selling from the oldest. Okay, let's look at the weighted average method. Let's put this into context now and look at the weighted average. Somebody just give me a sec quickly. Okay, I thought it was somebody looking for me on the chats. Okay, so let's move on to page 115. So we've got the weighted average method and the same thing here with the dolls. 5.6, we use the same information. They sell one type of doll, the dolls are identical, and the following purchases were made. So on the 7th of April, Brazil sells first doll for 400 and it gives doll C to the customer. So how will this now differ with the WAC method? Weighted average method. Okay, so our purchases was 200 on the first day, and on the second day we purchased for 210. So now we have, let me just do it on here quickly on the screen. So on day 1 we purchased for 200. So then my value is 200. On day 2 we purchased for 210. Right? So 210 and 200 is 410. Right? And I have two dolls. 410 divided by 2. So my balance of my weighted average of my 2 dolls is 205 rand. Right. So then the next day I purchased 1 doll of 210. Am I putting it in the right column? Was the next doll 210 or 220? No, 210. So now I have 3 dolls of 210. Oh, sorry, not of 210. 3 dolls, 210, and damn. So 210 plus the 410 gives me 630. Okay, so 630. Wait, I am not explaining this so lekker. So 630 divided by the 3 dolls, that will give me the 300. What is 630 divided by 310? That's the 210. So now my value is 210. Okay, the next day I got 4 dolls, right? And I purchased doll D at 230. Okay, so 630 plus 230 is 860, right? And 860 divided by 4 equals 215. Actually add a column here every time. This is
I think you made a mistake, man.
just hold on quickly. Let me just insert here. Wait. Let me just insert. I'll be with you now. Okay. Where did I make the mistake? On day 2. So that is 410.
Okay.
Okay, so we purchased another doll for 230.
30 years.
220. No, 220.
220.
So then my balance was 630. And I say 630 divided by 3. Then I purchased another doll for 230. Then my balance is 860 divided by 4. And that's when I get my 215. This is actually just easier on a piece of paper to do it than on the computer. Okay, so do you get? I think you follow the books method is better. I've got my own silly method in my head. But where did you say I made a mistake?
No, you went to rectify and put the 220 there. Because you
Okay.
didn't have the 220 there.
Okay. Cool. So that is the weighted average. It's just you taking one thing. If something is 100 rand here and something is 200 rand here, and if this was for 2 things and this was for 5 things, you now got something for 300 rand for let's make this 4. 300 rand for 6 things. So now my average is 50 rand, basically. If I then want to buy something again, we do the same. We wait it out all the time. So the balance is just where you divide it by the number of units all the time. That's the weighted average method. Let's look at 5.7, where they show us the example, where they prepare the inventory card. It's a boring chapter. Very boring chapter, I must say. Okay, so look at 5.7, where we got the inventory card. Okay.
Sorry, Aziza.
Yes.
Why we divide by 2?
Because we have 2 dolls. Here we have 3 dolls, 3 items. Here we have 4 items you will divide on a weighted average method.
Oh,
Same like the example. Under?
If we have purchased, we have 80 then. That one.
Which one?
And
The
then
first example.
the first, yes, on the 1st April. If we
Yes.
don't have 1st April, yes.
Where are you? Which example are you talking about?
First one on page 116.
116. Okay.
Yes. You see the
Okay.
first April, we have the purchase, and the quantity is 1. If the quantity was 3, and then on the third, we also have the quantity 1. But if there's a different amount, how do we calculate?
It would be like I did it here on here. It would have been just like this here. If I had 100 and there was 2 units and there was 204 units, you added together 6 and then you added together 300. Then you say 300 divided by 6 is 50. Does that answer your question?
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else? Any other question? So if you were saying there was 3 dolls, there 1 and 3, then you would have divided the total by 4 then. Or if there was 1 and 2, then you would have divided by 3. Okay. Now they say here on 5.7, we're going to use the example in 5.2 and prepare inventory according to the weighted average method. Where is 5.2? Example 5.2. Where's example? Oh, information in example 5.2. What page is example 5.2? Oh, okay. So example 5.2 is on page 98. Now they want to show us the difference in how it would have been if we're using it on the weighted average method. Don't use the wrong method in the exam. Make sure you know how to do both units, both measures. So if you look at the weighted average method, okay, so on the first, there was 15 units that were sold, okay, and there was 25 units on hand. So if we look at the balance, which was 25 at 1,000, okay, let me just type it out here. 25 at 1,000 gave me 25,000 rand. Okay, let me just put here rand. Let me just put here units. Okay. Okay, so then when we sold 15, okay, at 1,000 units, we short on 15,000, right? So now we take the balance, 25,000 minus 15 is 10,000, right? And that is 10. So now you say 10,000 divided by 10, which is going to give me 1,000 units. A unit cost. Right. So the next day we purchased 8. Right. At 10.20. So now we're sitting with 10.20 times 8 is 8,160. We add the two together is 18,160. We add that together, the 10 plus the 8 is the 18. You say now 18,160 divided by 18, which is going to give me 1,009. Right. So the next day you go and purchase 12 again. Okay. We purchased 12. Right. And our unit cost was 1030. Right. So 12 times 1030 is 12,360. We're going to add our 18 plus our 12, 360. And you're going to get an amount of 30,520. And 18 plus 12 is 30. So you're going to say 30,520 divided by 30 is 1017. Can you see how this gets done? You're just going to divide it all the time. So the next day, right, they sold 20, right? And the 20, you're selling at 1017 price. You with me? You're not going to sell it at the FIFO price like we did it with the FIFO. So you're selling it at the weighted cost. So 20 times 1017 equals 2340. So my balance now is 10 and 3520 minus 2340 equals 10180. So what is 10180 divided by 10? That's going to give me 18. This is 18.
Yes.
Okay. Can you see how we do it? So if I'm going to sell now 5, and I'm going to sell it at 1018, and then I'm going to get my answer the XXX. And that's how the weighted average differs from the FIFO method or the FIFO method. FIFO method is a lot of copo. The weighted average method is actually just easier. You don't have to go back and forth and back and forth. So let's just see if you can do one. So if I have an opening inventory of 12 units at 256 Rand, right? Here comes our own examples again. Let's just say opening, and I purchase 150 units at 60 Rand, and then I sold 12 units. This thing is going to make sense. So what is my closing inventory? Okay, tell me your answers.
Isn't it just 9,000? That 150 times the 60, because that opening falls away, isn't it? Oh, wait. No, what? I think I made a mistake. Let me just go back.
Okay. Any answers?
I got 155 units at 9,300 cost.
165 units
No, 155. 155.
Oh, 155.
Mm.
Okay, there's an answer. Any other answers?
Aziza?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry. I got total units is 150
Uh-huh.
and at a unit price of 75 Rand, and the
Uh-huh.
total is 11,172.
Anybody else get anything different? Who was at Bilkies now?
Miss Aziza.
Who was that?
Miss Aziza.
Was Robert now?
Oh, Robert. Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I got unit.
That must be another 11, yeah.
I got 150 at unit cost of 74 and 52 cents. The answer is 11,178.
Okay. Anybody else? I think this is generally correct. Okay. So do you want to explain to us how you got it? The two that got it correct, I think that one is correct. So that is 162 units. Right? What do we put here? 150 times the 60? The 9,000. Okay. And then that was the 70. Let's make it 75. Okay. Then I said we sold 12 units. Right? At 75. 12 times 75 is 900. Okay. Minus 12,072 minus 900 is 1172. Okay, at 75 and 150. Is there only two people that got this answer right, or was there more people? Should I do another one quickly?
Yes, please.
Okay, if I have 8 units at 19 Rand, let's just call this opening units. That is 8 units. That's the cost. Okay, I purchased 71 units, 72 units at 15 Rand. I sold 8 at 12 Rand. And then I purchased 18. I shouldn't say the amount. Okay. Can you calculate it now? You can just give me your answers once you have it, the closing balance. Why is it when we do exercises out of the book, then you do it so easy, but when I just change it, the numbers around, and then it becomes a problem.
Let me try.
Okay. What do you
Let me
have?
try. 80 units.
Sorry?
80
80.
units.
80.
Yes.
At
No. Oh, it's
18. 80.
It's ones.
Do you have an answer for me?
I got 30 units at a cost of 452.
30 units, and the total cost was 452, and the unit price?
Unit price, it's 15 rands.
15 rand. It don't even sound right. Can't be 30 times 15 is 450. So you mean 450? Maybe it's a rounding is wrong.
Okay, let me do it again.
Okay, anybody else? Any other numbers?
Aziza, I got
Uh-huh.
the total unit is 89.
The units here is 89.
Yes, units. 89 units at 15 rand,
Uh-huh.
and the total is 1,337.
Okay, anybody else?
Yes,
Yes.
I got 90.
Uh-huh.
Adds 15 rand.
Uh-huh.
The total cost is 1,352.
I have 89 times
52.
15. Oh,
Times 15.
times 15, yes.
Okay. Let's see if you're correct. Lisa, did you get an answer?
I've lost my lady.
Ach, nee, man. Okay, let's do it. 8 units times 19 rand is how much? 8 times 19 is 152.
152.
Okay. And then 72 times 15 is 1080. So 8 plus 72 is 80. Okay, and 152 plus 1080 is 1232. Right, 1232 divided by 80, it's 165 rand, 50 a unit. Now we sold, so that's 72, right? And then 8 times 12 is 96. So 1232 minus 96 is 1136 divided by 72. Wait. 1136 divided by 72 is 1570. Okay. So 72, and then we purchase 18 rand times 12 is 216. Am I doing it correct? Okay, and then 72 plus 18 is 90. So 90, 1136 plus 216 is 1352 divided by 90. 1352 divided by 90 is 15 rand. Okay. So these answers are generally right here. I think they were just with rounding off and that kind of stuff. So do the same example now with a FIFA. FIFO, sorry. The FIFO method. Use the same example and then you do the FIFO method for me. Please. Hi, this wasn't so easy.
Hi. Is the
Yes.
balance 90?
90, yes.
Just
At
hold on. 18, just 108. I just want to confirm quickly one. At 14 rand, and then the answer is 1296. 90 times 14, 1260. Sorry, 1260. Is that right?
you've got 1260. That's 90, you said.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Another answer?
Sorry, Aziza, it is 1296, I think.
I also think so.
Yes, sorry, man.
Why is this taking so long?
I also got 1296.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just basically the 1080 and the 216, the 72 and the 18. Did you get the 90 at 1296? So what was taking you people so long? There's still people that are still busy with it. Let me give you another whack. This is the last weighted average method. Let me just adjust the figures. What happened to my thing now? I think I was working so hard on.
Ma'am, use the scale. The bottom.
Okay, I found it. 13 times 12. Okay. Damn it. I'm pressing. Sorry, I couldn't hear myself saying it. Okay, purchase 18 and I said at 12 at the 5. Okay, so we've got one for you. So I wanted you to work out the weighted average method. Did everybody put their student number in that attendance register? If you didn't, please do that. People, you mustn't put your student number today in the group. You need to fill in that form.
Aziza,
Yes.
I got the opening units to be 16,000.
Mm.
And then do you want the unit cost for the purchases as well?
Now what the whole answer? The closing
I'll
inventory.
answer. The
Yeah.
closing inventory, okay. The closing inventory is the units 16,014. 16014.
16,000. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like that. And then the cost is 15 rand.
Okay.
The total is 245,904.
Let me just hear what the other people got and then we'll work it out. Put random figures in there.
Yes, Aziza.
Yes.
I got 1,614 units
Uh-huh.
at 8 rand cost.
At 8 rand.
8 rand, yes.
Okay.
The total cost is 12,904 rand.
Okay, so you've got something different. Anybody else? Kisa, Ethan.
I have
Mm-hmm.
1,999 at 14, and then I get 27986.
Wow, everybody's just getting all together different answers. Okay, next person. You kies, are jy still? Ethan, you quiet.
Oh, let me try Aziza.
Yes.
I got 1,615 units.
Uh-huh.
And then I got 75 costs. ne? Unit
Mhm.
cost, yeah. And then I got 121. How much is this? 121, ne? 125.
121.
Yes, 125.
You see, that's why you mustn't laugh at your president. Your ex-president, when we can't read numbers.
Aziza, sorry, man. That's by opening, ne? Is that 24,000
Yes.
divided by the 15, right?
Then you
And
get the
then you
6.
supposed to get 1,600.
Okay. Okay, and then 6,000 divided by 15.
Divided by
Yes.
15.
You got 400.
400. So let's just add it. 1615 and 24 plus 6 is 30,000 divided by 1615. We get 18.57 Rand here.
You don't
Okay,
round
then we
off,
sold
ma'am.
13. Yeah, 18.15. Let's just make it 18.50.
Oh,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then 13 times 12, 144. Right?
13 times 12, I got is 156.
It's 156.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, 156.
Yes.
Okay, so 1615 minus 13 is 1602.
Yes.
And 30,000 minus 156 is 29,844.
944. Yeah.
Divided by 1602. So we're getting 29. No, wait. 29,844 divided by 1602. Give me 18.62 Rand. Okay.
Yes.
Then we purchase 12 times 5 is 60. So 1602 plus 12 equals 1614.
1614.
And 29,844 plus 60 is 29,904 divided by 1614. 29,904 divided by 1614. 1 point. Wait. I got to divide by 18.52 Rand. That's what I got. Or am I wrong?
I made a mistake here.
I also made a mistake. I had 240,000 instead of 24,000 at the cost. There at the opening balance.
Oh,
Total
so you had
cost.
an extra 1,000. So you added an
I had
extra
extra
note there.
zero there. I had 240. Yes, I must
I
have my
was
eyes
wondering the first time when you said 6, and then I would go work it out, and I thought, okay, no, wait, maybe you never said it.
Okay, let me just recalculate quickly.
Yes, I said it's 12,904 instead of 29,904. Correct.
Okay, this must be a 16,014, eh?
Yeah, right. Thanks so much.
Let me just see 29,904 divided by 16,014. No.
No,
Oh,
my figures are
no.
incorrect.
There's a
My figures are
1614.
incorrect. It's 1614, not 1604.
So it's 18.52 Rand. Yukisa, I'm worried you're not talking to us anymore. Did you go sleep or something? Yukisa, is he still here with us? No, he's gone. Just see. Oh, he is still here. Yukisa, Ethan? Or Mr. Giddy? Ethan, Green? Ethan Shane, Green. What answer did you get? Or do you at least know where you're going wrong? Mr. Giddy, did you get... Mr. Giddy got laryngitis now. Doesn't want to talk to us anymore. Okay, any questions? Let's go, Robin Dingwell. Any questions on this whole chapter? This is not a difficult chapter. This is a Kopo
No
chapter.
questions there.
Kopo is, yeah. This is not a difficult chapter. It's like you have to focus and concentrate, because I see the people did get it right, the principle and thinking, but somewhere they did a calculation error. Am I right? So it's not very difficult. Let's move on. Abigail, are you okay with this chapter? Abigail also got laryngitis. Pumza, are you okay?
Yes, ma'am, I'm fine. I'm fine. Just calculation
Yes, I'm
errors.
okay. I'm
Just
okay.
calculation errors. Okay.
Yes.
You can call me Aziza. Call me Aziza. I'm not a ma'am. Eh? Okay, Mafuyo, NM. Are you okay with this?
Aziza.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you're okay. Next one is Lina Boyane. I'm gonna name reading
Yeah,
course. Don't worry, just forgive me now. If you must forgive me, I'm gonna do name reading in the next year. Wendy, are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay, Aziza. I'm okay.
Tristan Duplessis.
Yes, I'm okay, Aziza. You got it
Okay,
right.
and did you get yours right? Okay, and Sijaka. Ethan, are you okay?
I'll get there. I'll get there.
You
Just
just
need
need
more practice.
more practice, yes. And find your
Yeah.
own method of doing it. There's no set and right
Okay.
method. Find your own method that works for you. For me, personally, the books method doesn't work so nice with the FIFA for me, but it becomes a very messy issue, so only you can understand it. So find your
Yeah.
niche with this topic. Ethan, are you okay?
Okay.
Okay, Ethan doesn't want to talk to us. Grace, Zama.
Yeah, definitely better than what I knew before. Thank you.
Grace. Okay.
Aziza?
Is there new people on this group today? Yes. Yes.
Sorry, I just
Grace,
wanted
who's
to
speaking?
ask, say, it's Robin speaking.
Okay.
I wanted to know if we get an exam question to
Mm-hmm.
do this, and they don't specify whether it's perpetual or or the periodic system. Can we just decide which one we want to use and then do
Yeah, I
it
suppose so.
accordingly?
Yes, if they don't specify, but you must make sure that there's not a clue that leads to something that says it is. So somewhere, if they didn't say a perpetual and an inventory, somewhere they didn't say perpetual or what system to use, no? But somewhere they gave an indication of purchases, then you must know it's a periodic. Or somewhere they
Okay.
spoke about inventory, then you must know it's a perpetual that they want.
Okay, so you say if they in the transaction list, if they say purchases, then we should know it's periodic system.
And that's what they're looking
Okay.
for.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there's a lot of new people on this group today. Am I right? We okay, and we don't mind if you're new. We just want to do initiation with you. Orientation with you, initiation. Be nasty